Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Bear in the Streets as part of Cultural Exchanges for Liberty UK. My name is Beth and I'm the producer for Liberty UK, a festival delivered by Artreach. This time 7 years ago, actually, I was introducing Claire Bloom as part of my own Cultural Exchanges festival, so it's extra special to be here today. So a bit about Liberty UK. It's a pop-up festival which is delivered by Artreach, who are an art organisation based in Leicester. And the programme is inspired by ideas of freedom, solidarity, unity and democracy. And this year our festival will take place in the summer across Leicester city centre. We've got loads of exciting stuff planned for you, including an exhibition of work installed into toilets in public spaces. So the exhibition is part of a Creative Europe project with 5 other European organisations called Accessible Art for All, which aims to spread positive messages about tolerance and solidarity. We're commissioning 5 artists to take part in the exhibition, one of whom is here to talk to you today. So I'm really excited to welcome the Rebel Bear. The Rebel Bear is a street artist whose work can be found in Scotland, London, New York and Calais. And they're here to talk to you about their career as an artist and their work, which explores love, politics and human connection, and provides a unique commentary on a variety of socio-political issues around the world. Just so you know, there'll be some questions for you, the audience, about your relationship with art. So please use the live chat function to respond and to ask any questions that you might have during the talk. And we hope you enjoy the session.
Hello. Excuse the pink balaclava, it's probably a little bit unnecessary, but I always kind of wanted to wear one, so I thought this good excuse. So I'm going to be doing a wee presentation for the next 50 minutes, an hour. The main question, and feel free to type in if you have any questions along the way about what I'm saying or anything at all. So the general plan is, for the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you a brief bit about myself, kind of my idea behind the street art I do, and why I do it, and what my ambitions are. And then I want to kind of explain the benefits of art and what kind of art means to me. And then the main part of it is going to be like questions for you guys. So I feel it's a good opportunity to, talk openly and honestly about quite in-depth stuff. And then if you have your answers, then you can type them in the chat. Then I'll read them out, and also I'll give out my email address. So if you want to submit them anonymously, then you can do that, and I can read them out from your email without giving out your name or anything. So yeah. So firstly, I'm based up in Scotland. I do most of my street art, starting off in Glasgow, but I've also done some in Edinburgh and Calais and stuff. The idea originally came to me. I was basically kind of working a job I never particularly liked, and then I think I was looking. It came to me quite maybe about 6 years ago, but the person behind that is myself. It's this fictional character called the Rebel Bear. So if you don't mind, if you pull up the slideshow just now, then thank you very much. So yeah, so this is the character behind which there's all the street art. Now, the reason I picked the character is because I always imagine that my initial idea before I started off in any street art was to just have the idea of to walk down the street at like 9 a.m. and then on a Monday morning, and then people would be going to the work, and they would see this ridiculous character carrying a briefcase, and then they would say to themselves, "What the hell is that? What is he doing?" And then to me, it's not a million miles, but like a stretch from say, "What is he doing?" to "What am I doing?" Then I would kind of question if you're living your life correctly. But more than that, if the structures you take for granted and which seem so concrete, the fact that you're going to your work, whatever your work is, and the outfit you're wearing and the beliefs you hold and the likes and interests, which are all creation and fabrication, because they differ in every society, they differ across the world, and they differ throughout history. So yours aren't 100% yours. So yeah, so that was kind of where the bear came from. Might have been a bit of a stretch to get all that from just picture on the street, but that was my hope initially. And then I had the idea to do a billboard which said, "You are not going to be famous." So this was my first ever idea, which I built up, and it was just because, well, I suppose I thought society had quite an infatuation with fame. Uh, Famous people are treated almost like demigods, so I thought a massive billboard just stated what is most likely a reality. I thought quite quirky. So that was my first idea. And then from there, I just thought I would just keep coming up with ideas and stuff, put them out. So here's a few more pictures of the bear. He lives up in a cave, so he does all his work up there. And then he ventures down to where all the humans live, puts his view of the world on, on walls. So he's meant to be almost like a guide type character, like a friendly, cute, comical guy. So see, this was like a Valentine's piece I did. Cupid. This was an early one on social media. Uh, This was one I did on COVID. It was at the start of COVID. This was meant to promote hope, I suppose, that one day we could build mass down, we could build connections. This was another one I did on COVID in Edinburgh. This was called The Other Perspective. So, again, as humans were very, I suppose all animals are, but very, a viewpoint is kind of the only thing we often take into account. So this was the perspective from animals, and like with the rivers, the canals clearing up in Venice, and ocean going down, it's a protest by the animals. This one was after George Floyd's death. There was a lot of people. Then I just thought kids don't really see colour as much. So that's kind of message behind that. This was another billboard, just kind of against consumerism and everything like that. If you do have any questions about any of my pieces or my balaclava or just anything at all, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll answer them. Do you walk around to find inspiration? I say everywhere I can. It's just where you are at the time. No, you have to find the right wall. I get really oh, there's a delay on my microphone. I bought a new microphone for this. I think it comes with like a box. I'm not too sure if I can change it back. I know there's I can maybe pull the microphone out, but is it okay? Is it manageable, or do you think I should ditch the microphone altogether? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of walls, I get really excited when I see a nice wall. So I do a lot of research. I started off by cycling around and then driving around. But then Google Maps is the best way for me. So I spend a lot of time with Google Maps finding the right wall. Then you go out to measure it in the best surface. Helps a lot. Yeah. So the main thing I want from this, I don't know how many people in the chat. If you could, if one of the organizers could let me know how many people are listening, then we could start off with that. That'd be good. I suppose I chose street art because I don't know. Banksy was a massive inspiration. So suppose he the thought in my mind first. And then I like the idea that we all just very much in a routine. Everyone is almost in a routine. So if someone saw a piece on the street, then it kind of stops them in their tracks, and it forces them to think of something new, and it forces them to feel something new where they never would have known. They would have just gone on the normal day-to-day routine, home day-to-day shop. So I like the intrusiveness of the public art from Anna Roberts. So yeah, so I thought this might be quite a good opportunity to kind of pick your brain on a few different things. So art to me, um, I think it's at its best can shine a light on unspoken and unseen truths. Like, and it can be quite brutally honest. Like, for example, song lyrics. You never hear some very powerful, important song lyrics in normal day-to-day conversation, but in a song they can be stripped bare and it can be honest and very relatable. So I think art should always be brave in its message. Um, so I came up with a list of questions. I'll type my email address into the box and then that will be shared to you guys. 2 seconds. So you can either type your answers in the comments. What- it won't let me type in the private chat, Beth or the organisers. So would you mind sharing my email address just with everyone who's watching? So if you would like, if you don't want your name to appear, then you can email me and I'll read it out anonymously. Or if you're quite happily send it the private chat, then I'll read it. So first question is, now I used to teach a primary school for a bit, so I asked the primary school kids this. And primary 4, who are about 11 years old, I asked them this question. And they said, we don't understand. We only think about flying cars and stuff like that. Then they ran away. And then I asked primary 7, and they answered perfectly. So sure, I think this question here kind of differentiates not only adults from children, but also humans from animals on our ability to project ourselves in the future and the past. And it's amazing the different variants of answers you get. People, so there is no right or wrong. It's just your own perspective. But so on any given day, you spend time thinking of the past, present, or the future. So, for example, when you're waiting on a bus or when you're walking your normal route to college, or if you're just relaxing, um, you're anything, you can spend time uh, present, past, future. So if you were to split your day on an average day into 3 categories, so for example, something to keep you in the present. So right now, I'm very much present focused on this. And other things to keep you in the present are a really good books, talk to friends, walking my dog, that type of thing, keep me in the right. But then a lot of the time, I'll spend time in the past, and, and I'll think about fun friends, think about regrets. But other time, in the future, I'll think about what next piece, what I'm going to have for dinner, where I'm going on holiday. The future can range from what's going to happen that night to a 5-year plan. So for me, I kind of think I would say I spend about 50% for it. Usually work. Usually whatever I'm working on keeps me in the present, or sport. Sport keeps me in the present when I'm doing that. And I would say I spend about 45% of my time in the future thinking about mainly what my next pieces, what big deal list I want to get through, and what is it about. And also traveling. I actually fantasize quite a lot about travel, buying a camper van, doing that. And at least 5% average day I spent past. And I very really think about the past. When I do, it's occasionally a regret, maybe something stupid I've said, I regret saying, or it's a funny meme. So yeah, if you have any comments, please. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. 2 secs. I wasn't looking at the thing there, but can you hear me okay, Beth? Yeah. So okay, sorry. I'll talk closer to the mic. Apologies. Okay, I'll stay closer to the mic. Apologies. I was rambling there for about I don't know. It felt like forever, but hopefully you heard that. So yeah, if you could break up an average given day into the past, present, and future, uh, into a percentage out of 100, and then if you're feeling brave enough, tell me what keeps you in the present, what do you think about in the past, and what do you think about in the future. Okay, cool. Oh, let me speak closer to this mic. So Anna Roberts says, never the present, laugh aloud, always cringing at the past and worrying about the future. Since lockdown, I think it's probably most of the past. What do you think about in the past, Anna? Ellie says, learn from the past, but don't look back for too long. Be in the present and appreciate the moments you can, because you know if you're going to have a future tomorrow. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, no, that is very true, Ellie. How much time do you think you spend in the present and the past and the future? Isabella says, interesting. I think in lockdown, I have thought more about the future, the uncertainty of it for sure. Oh, so it's not positive in the future. You kind of daydreaming, or would you say you're more worrying? Susan, sorry. Hopefully my audio is fixed because I'm closer to the mic now. Let me know if it's better, Susan. Gary says, have I ever been caught in the process? And did the authorities understand? One time, Gary, I was just finishing off a piece and the police pulled up and stopped me. And they asked me what I was doing. And I explained to them, I was like, listen, I'm just finishing the piece. And then it was the kids on the wall. And I was like, it will only take me 5 minutes. I was like, can you just let me finish it? And then they were like, I'm not sure. I'll have to phone my chief officer. But luckily they let me off and they let me finish it. So they were quite nice. Although apparently the police I'd done a piece in Glasgow. They're not happy, but they're after me. Okay, I'm talking close to the mic. Apologies for rambling for so long and for talking far away from it. Yeah, so let me know about the past, present, and future, how much time you spend in each, and what keeps you there. Beth says she has a saying, always do the next thing right, and that brings me back to the present. Yeah, that's very nice. Olivia says, I try to spend all my time in the present. The past always pops up. I have to keep memories and experiences in the past sometimes. That's interesting. So basically, the reason I asked this is because there seems to be a big differentiation. Like, I've talked to some people who say they spend 60% on an average day thinking about the past. Uh, and I've talked to other people, like including myself, who never really think about the past. And then there's some people who live almost always in the present moment, and there's other people who are constantly thinking about the future. So I don't think there's any wrong or right answers, but it's just very interesting, I think, in terms of how people can vary so much. Isabel says 10% past, 30% present, 60% future. Yeah, that's very similar to me. Uh, and when I asked the primary school kids who are only 11 years old, they said uh, they all give different percentages, but they said in the present what keeps them in the future was like school and playing games. But in the future, they worry about high school. They wonder if they'll have boyfriends and girlfriends. They worry what cars they'll drive, what jobs they'll have. So even from the age of 11, that's when it begins. That's when the like conscious mind and imagination really kicks in. So it's quite interesting. Anna Roberts says 50% past is where happiness and stability was. 20% present, 30% future. Very interesting. It seems like you get a lot of solace from the past. Uh, L.A. Jameson says depends what parts of the past would you say is the present that influence your work, the current affairs, climates. Um, yeah, I would say that. Um, like if I pick up on pieces like my current affair pieces, you can look at my Instagram. Beth, if you could share a link to my Instagram, just in case none of them have seen it, that'd be appreciated. Um, but yeah, my like current affair pieces always seem to do the best in terms of like reception, because I think it's what a lot of people are dealing with and can relate to at the time. But I quite like the pieces which have more of a long term effect. Um, yeah, so thanks very much for your all your answers and being honest there. Um, my next question is, uh, and feel free to keep answering, and I'll try to keep going back to them. My next question is, yeah, so what is art to you? What is your favorite type of art? For example, is it music, movies, books, paintings? How does it make you feel? And when do you need it the most? Uh, so I'll briefly answer. What is art to me? Again, I think what I try to get through in my art is something honest, something brave. I like to shine a light on unspoken truths. Um, and more than anything, I like to shock people out of the normal day routine. My favorite type of art, personally, I say music. I would love to read more, but I'm a shocking reader and I need to change it. I really love music, but I struggle to listen to lyrics, so I'd love to listen to lyrics a bit more. Um, I enjoy movies and other people's art as well. Um, I bought this balaclava. Actually do another video call one time, Eleanor, um, and then someone told me I just could turn off my screen. So I felt a bit silly. So this is the first time I've actually got to use it. Like it looks quite dapper. Yeah, so please let me know what you think about what your art is. See. Beth says, I have a broad spectrum of things I consider to be art. Music is my go-to, but I also love reading movies and photography. Uh, Isabella says, dance is mine. I think you get lost in movement, paired with music, and listening to others' voices. Yeah, I agree with that. It's amazing because I've been in some cultures where they dance more, you know. Um, like I spent a bit of time in Colombia and I went to this house party and when people arrived, they instantly danced. and they were free. They're very free. Whereas in Scotland and all of the UK, especially with guys, there's more of a reservation to dancing, but something which holds you back. But it does feel amazing. So yeah, I would personally love to dance more. Anna Roberts says, art is expression to me, something that allows me to experience another person, human experience. Yeah, my favorite is illustration. Mark, Marcus, can't say that word. Sorry, music. Yeah, that's bang on. Yeah, another allows you to experience another person's human experience. And how powerful is that? It's sheer empathy just through art. Uh, Eleanor says to you, paint using different types of paint and materials, or do you tend to use similar set? It's one of my main ones. My main ones are stencil. So I spend a lot of time on Photoshop creating the piece, and then I print out a piece of big A1 sheets. I then cut it with like a wee X-Acto knife. And there's all my paint behind me. And then I use that to put up. So that's my main one. Uh, yeah, and yeah, I don't tend to go to Isabella. I don't tend to get into maybe. I don't feel connected to the voices of your different. It's amazing, isn't it, how everyone has a different relation to art. So I wonder how that comes about. Is that my own favorite art kind by me? Female artists, okay, like Yoko, keep on going through everything, but music, keep on love, Ellie James. Yeah, beautiful, very true. Um, okay, I'll shoot on to the next question. Um, so this is quite a personal question. Oh, I don't even know the answer. I'll need to think of an answer. But this is on my Instagram page and it's quite interesting. If you could pull up the pictures, the slideshow um, for me, please, organisers. Back, uh, back to my pictures if possible. Yeah, same man. I like art, which is also uh, kind of rough. You can see that someone's made it. Is on screen. If you could show the lady at the bus stop, please mark a bit. That'd be great. I can't see it, but let me know. Oh yeah, sorry, it is up. Apologies. Yeah, so this was a piece I did on my Instagram at a bus stop. It was actually in Edinburgh, so I put this out. There was a big pink arrow, and you had to look down, and then the text read, "If you were to die today, what would be your biggest regret of how you lived your life?" Nice ass, by the way. So that kind of comes from people bending over. So one of the things I try to do is mix in humor because I feel it makes the art less pretentious and slips under the radar a bit more. Um, so yeah, so if I were to die today, what would be the biggest regret of how you live your life? I would say I count myself as quite a brave individual, as in I feel I kind of go my own way, but I still think there's so much more scope to be myself more, and not live and not be directed by fear so much. Um, so I would say living by my own ideals rather than others. That'd be my biggest regret, is not to fully go for it. You know, like stupid things, but like if I want to paint paint my paint my nails, I probably wouldn't do it. Um, because of fear of what others said. But that ranges from such something as small as that to uh, something as big as how you want to live your life, what career path you want to go down, what sports you want to go down, what sexuality you want to uh, experience and voice about. So yeah, I'd say not truly being myself. Um, Ellie Jamieson says not saying goodbye, bro. That's it. Thank you very much for being so open, honest, Ellie. Uh, you can also look at my Instagram page, it's quite far down, but I had over about 300 comments from people uh, who expressed this like deep thing. And there's quite a lot of sharing and confidence, which was nice. Isabella says, not talking to enough people. So many stories and experiences that I wish I could hear everyone. Yeah, that's true, and I know everyone's lived a different life. Everyone's got different views on everything. Learn so much. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. Anna says, I think my biggest regret would be how I focus on who I am and not what I experience. But almost maybe a bit too self-indulgent in a way, rather than taking in what's around you. That's very beautiful. And also listening. Uh, Isabella, Anna agrees with you. Let's see. You know, Olivia says, allowing people to break my trust, stick by my inner voice. Yeah, that's very true. That's something I've experienced just recently. Uh, it's amazing how others don't value trust as much as some others do, you know. So I always thought it was like number one, but some people, yeah. It's a tough lesson to learn that. It's a hard regret because the responsibility doesn't fully lie on you, but I get Beth says a comment from Instagram was, which is similar to her answer, no regrets, just grateful for the many wonderful people that supported me, that I met, that I had a chance to spend time with. Yeah, lovely. And Olivia says, you can put a lot into people and it can be a mistake. Yeah, and it can be a mistake sometimes. Yeah, that's happened to me many times. Beth, giving importance too many times to the wrong things and people and not helping people who need help enough. Thank you for giving me the possibility of this reflection. That's very nice. Very true as well. And Isabella says, focusing too much on achievement and not the journey to it. Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely a problem. I say more so in the Western world. I think everyone's, I don't know, achievements like hailed to be the be all and end all, and I would say I'm uh, certainly deal with that as well. And Nuala says the amount of regrets I dwell on from the past. That's a very good one. That is sad, but also very, very good. Thank you for being so honest with all them. Ellie says, biggest mistake is wasting my teens and early 20s on boyfriends because I thought that's what I was meant to do at that point of life. Oh, did they get a shock when I walked away? Yeah, that's beautiful. It's amazing the point you said there because I thought that's what I was meant to do. Like how many people just go along with things because it's what society prescribes them. Your weddings, mortgages, engagements, certain ways to dress, certain likes, dislikes. It's like there's an expectation of us to live a life in a certain way. Boyfriends, girlfriends, a certain ages, marriages, a certain ages. Some say divorce now. Uh, um, so I think all of us get caught up in that trap. And it says, I think I would regret not living my truth sooner. Life has seemed better since. Of this authenticity brings joy. That was beautiful, that, Anna. It was hard to drink in this balaclava. Yeah, that's true. Yes, living my truth sooner. I'm going to try to do a bit more of that, Anna. Thank you. And Olivia says, I try to do the opposite to society to be fair. I don't agree with the ties of the world. People are meant to be free, not look to work. Yeah, we're here to that. All right, then. Thank you very much for that. What's my next question? Okay, we may as well go for this one. Considering you guys have been so given and honest, it's cool as well. Like, these questions are never brought up. Now, I know I brought them up far too hastily, as in there's been no rapport. It's a one-way street in terms of the audio, so it's like it's not. It's a very direct and blunt way to bring these questions up. But even with like close family and friends, these very personal, deep questions very rarely come up. And I think it's very therapeutic and cathartic to talk about them. So the next question is, what is your biggest insecurity? Um, what's mine? I've always struggled with relationships. Uh, I struggle to find the right girl, I think. So I think my biggest, and I've spent a lot of my time single. So I think my biggest insecurity is that I'll never find the right girl, and I'll forever be single. And it's not like not like I'm not happy, but I think that life, to a large extent, is meant to be shared. So yeah, my biggest insecurity is uh, how I'll be alone, I suppose. I tell you what, it's a lot easier saying these things when you're wearing a balaclava. You can say anything when people don't know you. uh, yeah, so please, if you would like to uh, type in what, it doesn't have to be your biggest, could be a small little thing, could be anything. Uh, but yeah, anything you would like to share, please do. Olivia says, letting people down. I have a lot of anxiety about not doing the right thing. Olivia says, yeah, and Olivia, you were the same person who said your biggest regret was um, putting a lot into people and then not getting the trust back. So it's almost like a pose, and it sounds like you're a very trusting and giving person, and you beat yourself up when uh, it's not reciprocated, or you beat yourself up if you don't give it. So you might be in a. I'm not. Don't take that advice fully on board. I'm not a therapist, but uh, and yeah, I try to be in pretty much the cycle. Yeah, interesting, interesting. Um, Ellie says, I used to be not being perfect enough. I spent 6 years with a guy who wanted me to be the perfect girlfriend. Then, the ripe age of 23, strutted away to build the life I wanted. Good on you, Ellie. Isabella says, not fitting in. So let me take down this. Good on that. So this is biggest insecurity. Not fitting in, being rejected by difference of opinion is one of mine. Yeah, that is scary. Ellie says it's more financially now. Oh, what's a fucking credit score? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I think that plagues us all. Anna says a shallow one, but my side profile. And then on a deeper level, she says, I think it's that I'm really bad at remembering things, and I'm insecure that people think it means I don't care. Oh, that's quite deep. I also have a shocking memory, Anna. Well, yeah, lovely. Uh, yeah, I think that's them all. Unless there's anything else. If there is, then feel free to type it in whenever you want. Okay. And then the last two questions are kind of both very similar. So, as part of the Liberty UK Festival, I'm going to do an outdoor toilet installation with loads of small graffiti pieces to promote social inclusion down in Leicester. Let me just change this picture dead briefly. So, how socially inclusive do you think where you live is? And with recent movements like the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter movement, do you think we are headed in the right direction? And then, as a follow up question to that, uh, sorry, Ian's got a brilliant answer as well. As a follow, yeah. So that's it. We'll go over that, and then we'll finish with the final question. So, how socially inclusive do you think where you live is? With recent movements like the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matters movement, do you think we're headed in the right direction? Ian says in response to the previous question, I've often suffered with imposter syndrome. Don't think I deserve to be in the position I'm in. Yeah, I think a lot of people suffer from that. Yeah, so do, so do I, to be honest. So do I. Yeah, any comments and any comments for how socially inclusive do you think where you live is with recent movements like the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter? Do you think we're headed in the right direction? Beth says the Me Too movement has highlighted a lot of unacceptable behaviour that was normalised before and has given confidence to people to talk about their experiences. Very well put, Beth. Um, Eleanor says, could we have another run through your images too, please? I'd like another look. Loving your work. Thank you very much, Eleanor. The best thing to do would be to go on my Instagram. Beth will put another link to it if possible. But I'll quickly run. These were just a couple of ones I've picked up, but there's more on my page if you'd like to look at. Anna says, I think that Leicester is more socially inclusive than my hometown, and we are moving in the right direction, but there's still a long way to go. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Ellie says, not inclusive at all. If anything, we are noticing more how racist society can be, but finally the voices of the oppressed being heard. Yeah, very true. Ellie also says might depend on the region. I would say East Coast of Scotland isn't as inclusive as the West Coast. Quite possible. Anna says, but also I'm aware that my social circle life here in Leicester is with people my age, younger generation, who seem to be more inclusive, progressive. Yeah, very true. Uh, Isabel says, I think we are inclusive, but there is always room to improve this. Yeah. Yeah. And Nila says, I think the movement is going in the right direction, but people need to be more patient with those who are uninformed because it's the only way to make change. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that quite strongly. I was talking to a family member the other day who's a farmer, uh, and he just lives in the middle of nowhere. He's old and he's only ever worked a farm. And some of his views are like extremely outdated, comically outdated. Uh, but he's not a bad man. He doesn't have any hate in his heart. He's just from a different time, you know. Uh, and I think people like that need to be educated correctly rather than attacked, in my opinion. Ian says, I live in Shropshire, a county where there are no cities, and it's the largest landlocked county, sorry, so there's no coastline. No cities and no coastline and loss of rural space mean there's miles and miles of nothing. It's huge lack of cultural diversity. Yeah, I can imagine. Obviously, this isn't universally true, but a lot of people here are very close-minded. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, obviously, you can have places which don't have any cultural diversity, but if they're like open-minded, accepting, it's completely different. Yeah, very interesting. Uh, and then Beth says there's a lot of important work being done, but I agree there's a lot more work to do. I've really learned a lot from following a broad range of activists on Instagram. It's been amazing learning too. Yeah, I imagine it's the internet which has started all this movements and encourages them and organizes them. Remarkable. So the last question is probably going to be the hardest. No, the hardest personal question. All the personal questions are done with. Um, but the last one is, would you like to see, so on this wall I'm doing in Leicester for the festival, would you like to see anything on the wall to promote unity, connection, or honesty? Do you have any ideas for a piece, a phrase you would like to go on, a quotation, a question, a poem, or anything at all? Uh, so yeah, if you have any recommendations or ideas, please let me know. And what was my last? And we still got like another 5 minutes, so we'll finish on this. And then also, if you have any questions, then feel free to ask them as well. Oh, Anna says the smaller the town, the smaller the mind. Possibly, possibly not as well. It depends, but interesting. Uh, Isabella says extinction in terms of the wall. Will you expand a little on that, please, Isabella? Olivia says the speed of life was something to reflect spiritual unity. Yeah, yeah, that is very good, actually. You could maybe have like a shared consciousness that you miss if you're going too fast, that you almost like zip past and you won't see it if you're moving too fast. Be hard to visualize with, yeah, possible. Yeah, Anna says your vulnerability is your power. Yeah, very true. There's a good book actually called The Power of Vulnerability. How could you? Yeah, that's a very powerful thing. Ellie suggests getting communities involved with this work. That's also a very good idea. I could contact local community centres and youth groups and stuff like that and ask their ideas. Isabella says, expands on the extinction comment. Species, I think the world is turning a blind eye to what we're losing. Yeah, there's something mad about how many species humans have made extinct. I can't remember the amount, but I heard the figure one time, it was like thousands or something. Um, yeah, you could do something like that. You could maybe do, like, in the Native American days when they used to pile up, uh, all the skulls of the animals on top of them. Maybe do that and have someone talk. And I suggest people's opinions of you is none of your business. Yeah, that is very true. It's none of your business. Focus on yourself as much as possible. Easier said than done, but you can definitely try to do your best. Ellie suggests when they won't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. That's brilliant. I've never heard that before. Yeah, you can maybe visualize something like that, like the world's powerful leaders, and then maybe something like Greta with a prop up chair or something. Anna says, I would love to see a piece about forgiving yourself, giving yourself the empathy you give us. Yeah. All lovely ideas, and definitely ones, empathy you give others. And definitely something I can mull over. Usually it takes me hours to come up with any ideas for pieces, but these are always the starting points, just like cool wee ideas or quotes or suggestions. Olivia says, the seed of life was something to reflect spiritual unity, and also maybe something to do with the damage of technology causing a lack of empathy and eye contact. Yeah, Banksy done a good piece of that when it was like two lovers and they were like hugging each other but looking over each other's shoulder, looking at their phones. Yeah, I know, like anti-social media type stuff. Yeah, it's all very good. And Ellie says, just a mass installation, the communities all pull up a chair and have a chat around the work. Well, that's also a very good idea. A place where people can actually come together and congregate. Okay, brilliant. And Olivia says, yeah, keep expanding the theme. Okay, brilliant. Well, that's Anna says something that allows people to share their fears, celebrate them, and not see them as weakness. Like similar to the bus stop one I did, but that's just more about expressing their fears. How could they celebrate them? How could they? Expression's a vital part of it, but how could they own them? Maybe how they write them, what they write them on. Maybe they could write them and then set them on fire or something. That's like as a symbol of letting them go. Neither can you share these. Oh yeah. Neither's gonna share something. So yeah, that's kind of it all. That was all my questions anyway, guys. Thank you for all your answers, for being honest, brave, and I was a bit nervous before this. Sorry for the microphone if it was rubbish. Yeah, thank you for just participating and giving me your cool ideas and thoughts. And it was nice for me to be honest as well. It's nice to just talk freely. Anna says, put it on Lou on flush down the Lou. Yeah, that'd be better than put it on fire. Ellie says, where's this work based? The piece is going to be in Leicester. I think Cultural Exchanges just shared it in the comments of the exact location. Yeah, thank you, Isabel. It was great to talk to you as well. Yeah, so if there's any more questions, feel free to put them on. But I really appreciate the time, and I suppose I'll hand it back to Mark or Beth or whoever wants to take it over. But thank you so much, guys.
Oh, thank you so much for the Rebel Bear for joining us today and giving us your time. It was really great to be part of such an intimate discussion and to get to know you better. And I think I can speak for everyone when I say that we're looking forward to seeing what you come up with for the exhibition. Thank you as well to everyone that came along and to everyone who participated and shared your vulnerability with us. It was very special. And like the Rebel Bear says, very brave and courageous of you. Also, thanks to DMU for inviting us to be part of the Cultural Exchanges Festival. If you want to see more about the Rebel Bear and the other artists that will be coming to Leicester this summer, then you can follow our new Instagram account, which is Liberty Festival UK, which I believe is being shared in the chat. Or you can head to the website, which is libertyukfestival.com. You can also sign up to our newsletter at Artreach, which will be sharing more information about our other work through and about the festival. And also a plug for our other really big festival that we run in Leicester, Manchester and Portsmouth, which will be happening this October, which is Journeys Festival International, which you can find on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram by searching Journeys Fest. So yes, thank you very much. See you later.